For some background, I have two different chronic illnesses. Neither are particularly serious, and one is very easily controlled by medication, Zofran, as long as I can get it in time. However, my baseline for seeming healthy and happy is always about 85%, while someone who didn't have to deal with either illness would normally have a higher baseline. It also means that, historically, I have been bad at recognizing when I'm actually sick outside of a chronic flare-up. A couple of days ago, I was planning on going to meet a new friend and her boyfriend in Brooklyn from NYC after I finished work and class. I was excited. We've hung out a couple of times before, but I hadn't met her boyfriend. In advance, I had gotten wine and dessert to bring. Come about that day, I was in my office and I was having severe trouble seeing, and my throat was on fire. I realized at that point I was actually sick and I wasn't going to be going out. I know I should have realized sooner. I'd been texting my friend about what type of pizza we would be having for the night when I realized I was actually sick and told my analyst I needed to go home. He agreed. On the cab ride home, I texted my friend to explain the situation as soon as possible. I said multiple times that I was incredibly sorry and glad to reimburse for anything, as well as send over what I had bought. She responded back, "I don't know what could have happened. 1 second you were saying you love pizza, our dinner plan, and the next minute you're cancelling." To her point, our plan was only a few hours away, and she was hand-making the dinner from home. Again, I apologised and explained I thought I came down with a cold or a virus, which I still feel the effects of as of writing this. At one point, after I offered to deliver the wine and dessert, along with covering dinner costs, she did seem to cool down a bit. I again stated that I got sick a lot without warning, and I was really sorry. She responded that she understood, and she was happy I was resting. However, after I was laying in bed for an hour, she texted me, "Just so you know, I am really disappointed you did this." I immediately replied back that I was, again, so sorry. She then went on to explain how disappointed her boyfriend, let's call him A, was looking forward to this, to the point that he had even picked up a trivia game for us to play. I immediately replied that I would be happy to redo the night at my treat and Venmo for the game. She waited a while, though I could tell she was typing and retyping replies. When she did, she said that she didn't see how it would be possible to repeat the plan since she would be out of state for work for weeks. I said I understood. 2 days later I checked our friend group chat and saw she removed herself. Am I the idiot? I cancelled last minute on a plan that meant a lot to someone, within hours of the plan, and that person put a lot of effort into planning a really fun evening. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No idiots here. You can't control getting sick, but from their side, it looks like, yeah, this for pizza, then actually nope, can't do it. So in their mind it kinda looks fake even though it isn't. Comment 2. No idiots here. You can't control your sickness, but cancelling hours before a big plan is an inconvenience and would be frustrating for the most patient of people. Now for the update. So it's been about 3 months since the whole incident with my friend and her boyfriend, and a lot has happened since then. After she removed herself from our group chat, things got pretty quiet for a while. I was still feeling under the weather, and I spent a lot of time just resting and trying to get back to my normal 85%. I didn't hear from her at all, and I didn't reach out either. I figured she needed some space, and honestly I did too. A few weeks passed and I started feeling better. I got back into my routine, work was busy, and classes were demanding as usual. I even made some new friends in one of my classes, which was nice, but I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt about what had happened. I missed my friend, and I hated that things had ended on such a sour note. One day out of the blue I got a text from her. It was unexpected, to say the least. She said she was back in town and asked if we could meet up and talk. I agreed, feeling a mix of nerves and hope that maybe we could patch things up. We met at a small coffee shop, and it was awkward at first. But as we started talking, it felt like the tension began to ease. She apologized for how she reacted that night and explained that she had been under a lot of stress with work and her relationship with A. I apologized too for cancelling last minute and causing any disappointment. We caught up on each other's lives, and it felt good to reconnect. She told me that she and A had actually broken up while she was away for work. It was a bit of a shock, but she seemed to be handling it okay. She said that the breakup had given her some perspective, and she realized that she had overreacted about the whole situation with the cancelled dinner. Things were going well and we started hanging out again. It was like old times, and I was relieved that we had managed to move past the incident. Our friend group even started to get back together, and it seemed like everything was falling back into place. But then, something strange happened. I was at work one day when I got a friend request on social media from A. I was hesitant, but I accepted, curious about what he wanted. He messaged me almost immediately, apologizing for any awkwardness and saying he hoped we could be friends. We started chatting, and he seemed like a decent guy. He explained that the breakup had been mutual and that he had actually been the one to suggest they take a break. He said he felt like he had been a source of stress for my friend and that he wanted her to be happy. As we talked more, A mentioned that he still had the trivia game he had bought for that night we were supposed to hang out. He joked that it was cursed and that maybe we should finally play it to break the curse. I laughed and agreed, thinking it would be a fun way to put everything behind us. We set a date to meet up and play the game, just as friends. But when the day came, A showed up with more than just the game. He had a whole folder with him filled with papers that he said he needed to show me. He explained that after the breakup, he had started doing some digging into his own life and his past relationships. He had come across something that he thought I should know. It was a medical record, my medical record. I was confused and a little freaked out. How did he get this? Why did he have it? He told me that he had been working part-time at a medical research company and my name had come up in a study they were conducting. It was a study on chronic illnesses and their impact on daily life. My record was there because I had apparently been part of the study without knowing it. I was stunned. I had no idea how I could have been part of a study without my consent. A seemed just as confused and concerned as I was. He said he had quit the job as soon as he found out and that he wanted to help me figure out what was going on. We spent the rest of the evening going over the papers, trying to make sense of it all. There were notes about my illnesses, my medication, even personal details about my life that I had never shared with anyone outside of my close friends and family. The more we read, the more questions we had. How had this information been collected? Who was behind the study? And why was I a part of it without my knowledge? A promised to help me get to the bottom of it and I was grateful for his support. But as I lay in bed that night, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. This revelation had opened up a whole new can of worms and I had no idea what it would mean for me and my health. And the biggest question of all loomed in my mind. If my medical information was being used without my consent, what else didn't I know about my own life? Now for the comments. Comment 1. Hey, chronic illness is no joke, and it's super important to listen to your body. It sounds like you did the right thing by cancelling. True friends should understand health comes first. Maybe your friend was just having a rough time with the breakup and took it out on you. Comment 2. That's a serious privacy concern with your medical records. You should definitely look into how your information was accessed without consent. Maybe reach out to a patient advocate or legal professional to understand your rights and next steps. Stay safe and take care of yourself. Now for the next story. So me and my ex-wife were married for a little over a year when she came home from a girls' trip and decided she didn't want to be married anymore. She wouldn't really give me a reason for this and didn't want to discuss it unless it was with a therapist, which I didn't want to do unless she told me first because I didn't want to be blindsided by something with a stranger present. Long story short, I could have been a better husband, she could have been a better wife, but we separated, divorced, and that was the fall of 21. Fast forward to now, we've had very minimal contact for taxes or mail, stuff like that, but have been very civil with each other. So this past summer, I hadn't heard from her for months and wanted to clean out my garage, some totes of clothes and decorations that I'll never use, so away it went to the trash or donated. Now, when we first separated, I gave her plenty of time and opportunity to remove her items from the house, anything that wasn't blatantly mine like my PC or guns or stuff like that. I honestly just wanted her out of my life, so I told her to take whatever she wanted, even leaving the locks unchanged for a whole year after divorcing, because up until then, her name was still on the deed to the home. I guess she moved away after the divorce to another state. I'm unsure as I just didn't ask and didn't care, so recently she texted me and said she would be in town and asked if she could come get her stuff and remove some of the household items as well, like a gas grill and a table. Items we got when we were together and have been left with me and used by me for the past 2 years and the items that I've gotten rid of. So am I the jerk for just telling her no? I don't want to be mean about it, but it's been 2 years since we divorced. How long was I supposed to hang on to this stuff? She never asked me to hang on to it for her. Plus the common household items that I've been using, am I just supposed to let her have those and buy new stuff? I'm very confused about what she expected after 2 years of being divorced. Edit. There was a previously discussed time for her to get her stuff. I'm going through text messages trying to figure out what to tell her. It was last Christmas, and she never showed up because she said she got caught up with family and had to fly to New York for the New Year's party. That was also the last time we spoke till now. Update. I told her stuff was gone several months ago since she didn't contact me to get it after so much time had passed. I do have one item that I'll return to her because it was her family's and I didn't know it was left here. No response thus far. Legally, I'm fine. I talked to my attorney. Morally, I feel bad, but it is what it is. I truly figured she'd moved on so she didn't want the stuff. Speculation about the divorce. I don't know why she left and I don't care at this point. I chalked it up to things don't always work out. Why didn't I go to therapy? No, I didn't abuse her. I just wanted to know if I needed to get checked for an STI. She had already made up her mind about the divorce. I didn't see a need to talk about it and hear about all the ways I failed as a husband. I felt bad enough at the time, and it wasn't going to change her mind on leaving, so why do it? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not sure where you live, but this kind of stuff is dictated by the judgment and decree in states I am familiar with. It should spell out personal property division and set a timeline for picking it up. I would start by checking your judgment. Comment 2. If your divorce is final, then the division of assets is complete, and the items she abandoned with you are not hers. Now, for the update. After I sent the message about her stuff being gone, I waited for a reply. Days went by and nothing. I figured maybe she was busy or had decided it wasn't worth the hassle. I was wrong. She finally texted back and she was upset. She said she had been expecting to get her things, especially the grill and the table, which she claimed had sentimental value. I didn't know what to say. I mean, she never mentioned any sentimental value before, and it's been 2 years. I've been using them and they're part of my home now. She asked if we could meet up to talk about it. I didn't want to, but I agreed. I thought maybe we could sort this out like adults. We met at a coffee shop, and it was awkward. She looked different, not in a bad way, just different. We made small talk for a bit before she brought up her stuff. She said she had been going through a lot, and that's why she hadn't come to get her things. I didn't ask for details. I didn't want to get dragged into whatever was going on with her. I explained again that I had given her plenty of time, and that I had no idea she still wanted those things. She got quiet after that. I could tell she was angry, but she didn't yell or anything. She just said she needed some time to think and left. I haven't heard from her since that day. Meanwhile, I've been thinking about the one item I still have that belonged to her family. I've been meaning to return it, but I haven't found the right time. I don't want to just drop it off at her place or mail it without knowing if she's okay with that. It's a weird situation. My friends have been giving me mixed advice. Some say I should just forget about her and move on completely. Others think I should try to make amends for the sake of closure. I'm torn. I don't want to be the bad guy here, but I also feel like I've been more than fair. On top of all this, I've started seeing someone new. It's nothing serious yet, but it's been nice to have some company. I haven't told my ex about it because it's none of her business, but I also don't want it to complicate things further if she finds out. As for the rest of the stuff, I've been slowly replacing items here and there. It's not like I had a ton of extra cash lying around to buy new things, but I'm making do. It's strange how a grill and a table can become such a big deal. They're just things, but I guess they represent more than that to her. I've been trying to figure out what to do next. I could reach out to her again, but I'm not sure what good that would do. I could also just wait and see if she contacts me, but that leaves me in this weird limbo. I don't like having unfinished business hanging over my head. It's been a week since we met at the coffee shop, and I'm no closer to resolving this than I was before. I'm starting to wonder if this will ever be truly over, or if we'll keep circling back to these unresolved issues. It's frustrating, and I just want to move on with my life. I guess I'll have to make a decision soon about the family item. Maybe I'll just send her a message and see what she wants me to do with it. I don't know. I'm trying to be the bigger person here, but it's hard when the other person doesn't seem to want to meet you halfway. So that's where things stand. It's not the update I hoped to give, and I'm sure it's not the conclusion anyone was looking for. But that's life, I suppose. Messy and complicated. I'll keep trying to figure it out, but for now, this is where it's at. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Hey, just wondering, did you give your ex a heads up before getting rid of her stuff? I get that it's been a while, but communication is key. Maybe offer to help her understand which items were important and see if you can help replace those. Just a thought. Comment 2. Oh, the old sentimental stuff debacle. Look, you're not a storage unit, and 2 years is a long time. But maybe for the family item, do a good deed, drop it off with a bow and call it a day. Then you're the bigger person and can strut away drama-free. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.